Let me take you over to Bonn, Germany, where the United Nations climate talks is wrapping up in Bonn, and we have seen this preparatory session for COP24 in Poland in December make progress on a number of technical issues. Negotiators from around 190 countries got down to business, advancing various aspects of the implementation guidelines for the Paris Agreement, and unexpectedly agreed to develop a negotiating text until the next session in September. The Bonn sessions also launched a fresh conversation about strengthening national climate plans in the Talanoa dialogue, but much work remains to meet expectations from COP24. Our Foreign Affairs editor Lilian Odera sent us this report from Bonn, Germany, a little bit earlier, and here is it. Take a look.
Very good afternoon from the cloudy city of Bonn, Germany this afternoon. Now, I've just stepped aside from the main conference area where the closing sessions of this technical round of negotiations on climate change have been going on for the past 2 weeks. Now, what I can authoritatively confirm, or report rather, is that there has not been clear convergence on a number of issues. Key among them is the issue of financing. Now, the developed countries have argued that they want to advance funding to developing nations to help them mitigate the effects of climate change. But this funding will come in form of grants. That has spiritedly been rejected by the developing countries, who are arguing that they do not want to meet conditionalities that come with grants because it is a loan that has to be paid back. Now, the developing countries are also arguing that there has been no transparency from the developed nations when it comes to the sources of financing and how they expect to advance them to the developing nations. We did have a media briefing session with the Executive Secretary of UNFCCC, Patricia Espinosa, but she was very optimistic that at the end of the day, the developed nations are going to meet their end of the bargain. Now, the other issue that, of course, was a key agenda item is that these technical experts were expected to finalize the issue of a Paris climate change rule book. That will be the guiding principles on how the world would move together to tackle the issue of adaptation, climate adaptation, and funding, and all matters affecting climate change. Now, there has been no finality on that as well, and that means that this issue has been deferred to the next round of technical negotiations, again to be held in Bangkok, ahead of the main COP24, that is the main climate change conference to be held in Poland in December this year. During that conference in Poland, it is expected that world leaders will be able to come up with a clear framework, or rather ratify a clear framework that will have been developed by these technical experts on how the whole world needs to move together to fight climate change. Ahead of that, there is expected to be again a series of technical and capacity building workshops. That issue came up very strongly, especially from the Kenyan delegation that held their own mini version of a closing session yesterday, led by Dr. Charles Mutai from the Ministry of Environment. And they were saying that they need to come up with a clear position, a clear country position ahead of the next round of country talks. And that clear position is expected to be developed by Kenyan technical experts at a meeting to be held possibly later this month in Nairobi. Now, reporting from the sidelines of the ongoing UN Climate Change Talks Conference here in Bonn, Germany, I'm Lilian Odera for KTN News.
Thank you, Lillian, for that comprehensive report. And remember, we're still keeping a keen eye on that developing story of the JKIA, where two cabinet secretaries, that is both Najib Balal of Tourism and Cecily Kariuki of Health, are set to issue a public statement on the state of Ebola. The two cabinet secretaries will be speaking at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport any moment from now. Now, let me take you over to some other international story. U.S. President